Welcome everybody to Keto Chat Live.
Well, I mean, I don't know if people are watching it quite yet, but this will be Keto Chat.
Well, sometime they'll watch it.
Sometime they're watching it, but then it's not live. This is, I don't know, the name of the show is Keto Chat Live.
Right.
Okay, so it's Keto Chat Live.
Are we live?
Now it's live.
Are we live or are we in Memorex?
Keto Chat Live.
What?
Keto
Crazy.
Chat Live. Am I centered here?
I don't know. Why don't you pull up the second screen and see?
But I want...
You should pull that a little closer.
To look at myself, though.
I got notes. I got an outline for our class today.
Is number one to try to find out if we're actually live?
Well, yeah.
See, I don't remember how to do it. I always forget.
Yeah, that one. That one. Click on that.
I always forget this one. Can
Every
someone
week
type in the chat how I check the chat?
He's got it. We'll get him trained.
Can someone do that for me? Is it?
There we are.
Oh, I need to put a hat on, dude.
Oh yeah.
We
should have two hats on.
My hair looks ridiculous. Here,
What do you mean? What do you mean? This is fresh keto hair.
This is the fresh keto. I just got out of the shower.
This is fluffy.
Looking pretty clean.
His hair's at a length where it stands straight up. If it was any longer, it would lay over.
Well, you should. Well, I got it cut kind of for the conference we went to in the weekend.
Yeah.
And because it's getting a little mangy on the sides, but this is like. I would like gel it up like this, or I would do something fancy with it. Yeah, it is a little. It's a little boring right now. I don't know.
What do you mean? It's quite entertaining.
Quite entertaining.
Well, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I've got I've got 4 things on here, and I didn't even include the taste test that we're going to do.
Or my hair, or the update on my hair.
Yeah, the hair wasn't even on there either. So, all right. So I'll just give you the outline of what we're going to talk about, and stick around because it's going to be great. And we're going to give you a little recap of what we did this weekend.
This weekend was pretty cool. That's
spoiler
alert, it didn't suck.
Okay. Then what happened this weekend, we're going to talk about some of the frequently asked questions. So
digesting this weekend.
We were at an event that we had a lot of questions.
You people probably already know that.
Yeah. The third one I'm going to talk about then, and one of the frequently asked questions is going to be our research topic for tonight.
Okay, for sure. Do I remember it? I think
Yes,
I do
you
remember
do.
it. No, I don't remember it. You told me it, but I don't remember it.
You will as soon as I bring it up.
Oh yeah, of course, definitely.
Yeah.
A very selective memory. I forgot it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's just because you were just doing your computer science homework and
it fries my brain.
Your brain was on something else there. And our third topic is one of the speakers that was at this event.
Oh, very exciting, actually.
Actually is related to another topic I want to talk a lot about, which is our carb-addicted brain and how it tries to tell us we're bored with food. And I'm going to talk about all of the brain chemistry that makes us think we're bored with food and why that happens and why it's a red flag to watch out. Your brain's trying to trick you.
It was a very insightful talk, definitely. We'll get more into it later, but yeah, I felt like I learned a lot.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. You learned something.
I had a question come up. One of the group's lady wanted to know, are there any keto-friendly protein bars out there that don't need refrigeration? So I've got some answers for you for that.
That's a good question. I know lots of people like to have their bars,
Yeah. Convenience on
There's
the go.
good alternatives, but maybe there are something that fits the bill.
Yeah. And then we've got a taste test lined up for you as well. So we got a jam-packed session today.
Nice little sneak preview. Ooh, sauerkraut.
What's a brand? Pickled Planet. Okay.
They're all the three the same. It's the same. Unlike the last taste test, these are all the same brand, but they are different things. We'll find out what the best one is in this controlled taste test.
Yes, very controlled. Placebo-controlled trial.
It's double blind.
Yeah.
Placebo.
We'll cover each other's eyes and then.
It's a placebo because one of the forks doesn't actually have any sauerkraut on it.
Right,
it's just an empty fork, and you got to tell me if you like it or not.
It's cat food, actually.
Cat food. It's fermented,
Yes, it's
fermented cat food.
It's nutrient dense.
I think they do that in Germany, actually. It's like the cats. Like the cat food is so healthy that it's sauerkraut.
Oh, okay.
But it's like made out of cat food.
That's where sauerkraut comes from originally. You realize that?
That's why I said it. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's why I picked Germany, is because
you knew that.
They do it in Poland. No, they do it in Germany.
Yeah.
Watch us be wrong though. Watch it not actually be from Germany. It's just a stereotype. I don't know.
Oh,
it probably is though, right? I feel like it is.
It was invented in Japan and they just spelled it German.
It's like how American people say pizza was invented in America. It's like, kinda. It's like
or Italian.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's really Italian, but some people Some Americans
I thought
claim
it was
like,
really American, but people say it's from Italy.
well, I know that's true for certain pastas because like I remember tomatoes aren't actually really native to Italy.
Oh.
They use tomatoes. I think so. It's like the
You're
tomato.
just making stuff
No,
up
no,
now.
the tomato sauce in Italian dishes is American. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it is.
I know Mario Battelli, who does a lot of Italian cooking, doesn't really do a lot of tomato sauce.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. It's more cheese.
Olive oil and
olive oil. Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
That's a little bit of a weird side tangent. But
Total side tangent there. Totally not even keto related.
it's culture, though. Culture is very important. I mean, even if it's not keto.
Well, because that's what happens is as your we were talking about food. I was going to say as
we were talking about food, so
as your brain starts thinking less about food all the time, you think about other topics, but that doesn't really fit very well because we were just talking about food. So never mind. Well, all right. So let's just get into our topics for today. So
what should we do first? Should we do the taste test? I don't know. Usually,
let's just give a recap of what. I
talk about the weekend?
Yeah, let's do the food last. So stick around till the end.
Okay. Stick around to the
Cliffhanger.
end. Cliffhanger. Well, spoiler alert, there will be a cliffhanger now. I don't know.
After the break. No, we don't have any breaks on this show.
Take a pause. Gotta go put a hat on.
Yeah. All right, so this weekend, Kendall and I...
Where were we, Carol?
We were in Vancouver, Washington at the Nutrition Therapy Association's 10th annual conference, and their theme this year was It All Begins in the Gut. So I was there, I spoke on Thursday, very well attended, really, really impressed and excited with how excited people are about ketogenic diet therapies. And I spoke during a breakout session, so there were 3 choices during that time. My talk was the most well attended. It was a room of about 250 people, and all the chairs were full, and there were people standing in the back, and so it went really, really well. It was really fun to do, and so I focused on all the different 5 health benefits of ketosis. I shared my story, and then I also talked about a bonus benefit of ketones, being on a ketogenic diet, and how healthy that is for the gut. I came up with at least 4 different ways that a ketogenic diet is amazing for healing gut issues, and that's what I see with all the clients that I've worked with, is that even when they've worked for years and years and years at trying to heal their gut, within a few days their symptoms start subsiding on keto, and very quickly things heal up down there. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So we can spend a whole hour going over all that.
We can spend a whole day going over that.
Yeah. So we also had a table at this event, and lots of people coming up. I offered consults for people to talk about how to implement a ketogenic diet in themselves, and then also a couple practitioner trainings that I've got launching this year as well. So I've got a 3-day intensive training for practitioners, and then I'm also going to be offering a full year-long mentorship program too. So lots of people to follow up with on that. I've been working really hard at following up with everybody, and if you're somebody who signed up, I've got the last batch of those email addresses to add in tonight, so you should see that email coming out tonight if you didn't get one already. Okay, so 2 people had tons of great questions there, and so there were 2 of them that kind of stood out to me that I just wanted to talk about here. One of them was like, can I do keto if I have thyroid problems, if I have low thyroid, if I have hypothyroidism, which means low thyroid function?
Carol, what does that mean?
Thyroid is a gland that's in here.
Uh-huh.
It's, just really easy way of thinking of it as kind of the master gland that controls our metabolism. And if your thyroid is sluggish or you have low thyroid function, basically it makes you feel tired and cold. And some other symptoms can be like hair loss. And it can put you at really high risk, actually, for some other serious chronic conditions. Interestingly, there's a high correlation with cardiovascular disease, so think of like heart attack and stroke, with low thyroid function. Now up until keto discovery, that made no sense to me. It was like, that's really weird, but it's known into doctors that puts somebody at risk, and so they try to treat hypothyroid with adding thyroid hormones. But what it really turns out, just like so many other things get better on keto, is that our thyroid gland, like a lot of other glands in our body, have feedback mechanisms. So if things aren't working right in the body, there's a biofeedback that suppresses the function of it. So guess what one of the number 1 things that causes hypothyroid, that feedbacks on the thyroid gland, is
What is it, Carol?
inflammation.
Oh, no one's actually surprised.
Inflammation, which when your insulin is high all the time, you're in a chronic state of inflammation. And so it's no wonder that, inflammation, too much insulin is correlated with heart disease, cardiovascular disease.
Let me see if I'm hearing this right. You're saying if you have thyroid problems, keto is good for that.
Yes. Yes. So it's not that thyroid problems cause cardiovascular disease. It's that they both have the same underlying cause, which is this hyperinsulinemia, which causes this chronic inflamed state in the body, and things just don't work right. And so despite the myths, despite the bloggers out there that say that, oh, if you have hypothyroid, you need more carbs. Oh, that couldn't be further from the truth.
That sounds scary.
Yeah.
It's like, that doesn't sound like something you want. You have diabetes, you need more carbs.
Yeah.
Don't tell people that.
The other thing I see is that people that are chronic low-calorie dieters, so they chronically restrict calories or chronically trying to lose weight all the time by going about it like the low-fat approach, their metabolism also slows down. But here's now something that food for thought, or ketones for
Wait, are we
thought.
talking about food still?
Ketones for thought.
I can't believe we're talking about food here.
What if the people that are chronically trying to lose weight are just always inflamed because they haven't found the right type of approach, like keto diet, and they're inflamed, and that actually maybe is what causes the hypothyroidism and not just the chronic dieting? I don't know. Maybe future studies will show us that. But, so despite the myths out there, keto diet does not cause hypothyroidism, and if you have hypothyroidism, you can't. It's not contraindicated for you to do keto. In fact, it could be very beneficial at helping if the underlying cause is inflammation.
Are there other causes of hypothyroidism?
Yeah, there can be a lot of there's genetic things. There is also considered there's a version of hypothyroidism called Hashimoto's that's an autoimmune condition, and autoimmune conditions also get better on a ketogenic diet because autoimmune conditions aren't really fully understood, but my hypothesis on this is that in a chronic inflamed state, our immune system is overworked and stressed. It's not working correctly, and so we start to be allergic to all these different things in our body. A ketogenic diet helps your immune system work optimally, brings that inflammation way down, and so that's why we see a lot of different autoimmune conditions get a lot better or completely reverse. Allergies could be along those lines as well, yeah. So the difference between autoimmune and allergies, so allergies is your body's reacting as a foreign invader to outside things, parts that aren't part of you, so like cat proteins, like dander, food particles, and things like that. Whereas autoimmune is your body mounts that same attack on your own tissues. Oh. So it usually picks out something. So like Hashimoto's hypothyroidism is your body is attacking your own thyroid because it thinks it's a foreign invader and it's trying to kill it.
Come on, buddy. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
So there's a lot of different autoimmune conditions. So, yeah. So, okay. So the other, question that stood out to me, it was a frequently asked question at the NTA conference this weekend, was... I tried keto, but I didn't feel very good on it. You, when you spoke up there, you said people feel really good on this. Like, what was I doing wrong, or why didn't it work for me? This is a common one that I hear when people are trying to figure out on their own how to do keto, and they're like, how come it didn't work for me? Well, you probably weren't doing it right, because everybody that I've worked with, especially the ones that were trying it on their own and couldn't figure it out, there was several things that they weren't doing right. And so there is some complexity to a ketogenic diet, and a lot of it ends up being able to dial it in for each individual person. And that's why you'll see so many different conflicting information out there. Like, there's so many different blogs that say, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. And then you go into keto Facebook groups that have hundreds, maybe tens of thousands of people in there. And then you ask a question, 100 different people are going to tell you, do this, do that, do this, do this. More protein, less protein, more fat bombs, more bulletproof coffee. Do fasting, and it turns out
it's too much.
Yes, exactly. So people get more and more confused, more overwhelmed, and they're like, why is there so much conflicting info out there? Well, it turns out that it does need to be fine-tuned and adjusted per each person to get the best results. So that's why there's so much conflicting info, because everybody says, well, this is what worked for me, so this is the way it should do for everybody. Turns out it doesn't really work that way.
Guess what? Everyone is a special snowflake. Everyone's completely different.
You are, and you, and you, and you.
Everyone is completely different. So.
Yes, and you too.
There is no one size fits all, as you've probably known.
Right, and so, the the people that typically didn't feel good when they were trying it, they were making some mistakes, probably a lot of mistakes. They thought they were doing it right. Like, for example, they're like, well, I was eating low carb, moderate protein, and high fat. That's keto, right? But, well, how many grams of carbs were you eating? Oh, I was just eating very low.
Well, no, like, what is the traditional American diet carb? Is like 1,000 carbs a day?
Yeah,
I feel like it's something.
12 million carbs a day.
No, like actually, like how many grams of carbs do you think the average American diet is?
Oh, probably 300 to 400. If they're, I don't even think they have to drink sodas to get.
Well, because I know when I was drinking like high sugar energy drinks when I was younger, I mean like a single
50 grams of carbs in each one, right?
Almost 200, almost 200 in like a single one.
Well, 200 calories.
200 calories. No, I feel like it's, I don't know. Maybe it's like
200 grams of carbs would be 800 calories.
Okay, so yeah, probably like 50 then, and I was having like 3 of those a day.
Yeah.
150 grams of carbs just from the drinks.
Well, yeah, because so a lot of people think they're getting something healthier by getting an energy drink instead of getting a soda, right?
It's
like, did you think that?
No, I for me it was like to me I thought it was the same thing, but with more caffeine. So.
Yeah. And good vitamins in it or something.
Not even.
You don't even care about that.
I don't think a person that's getting energy drinks is going, "Oh, vitamins, my favorite." If they're looking
gives
for the
me
vitamins,
energy, I don't care what's in it, right?
Because there are all natural energy drinks that we've been getting, recently, like PCC and things like that. The high balls, they're actually really good flavor, pretty much equivalent energy without that crazy stuff in it.
Yeah, well, you should share what you experienced then.
Oh well, so for me, whenever I drink energy drinks, I get a little sweaty. I'm kind of a heavy.
You get the sugar-free ones, but you don't get the all natural ones.
Yeah, so because I'm a little cheap, I'm quick. I'm in a gas station, whatever. I'll just grab the ones with no sugar, no dextrose. The ones that I get have erythritol in them, and like no other sweeteners. And but yeah, no, I get a little sweaty though when I drink one. I'm just a little profuse sweater. Maybe I'm just too caffeinated. Something in there. My theory was that there's one of the additives just doesn't.
Well, how'd you come to that conclusion though?
Because I got the highball one at PCC
at this weekend at the conference.
Yeah, and no ridiculous sweats.
I think you got it at Whole Foods, but it doesn't matter.
Whole Foods. I think they sell them both.
Yeah.
They sell them everywhere.
PCC is only the Seattle area. There's people watching us all over the country here. So
I always forget that. Yeah, Whole Foods had it. I got like the vanilla one. It's pretty good. It tastes just like vanilla bean, and they're clear. There's like probably like 5 ingredients in there, caffeine and some other stuff. It's like those things will work. So.
And then you noticed you weren't sweaty that day after you had that one.
Exactly. It's weird. You could just notice so easily the differences between, it's not even long-term effects. It's short-term. I wonder what the long-term effects are. I don't know. It's not.
Wow.
Don't make me think
Your
about
hair will
that.
get even bouncier.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah. So, 2 main groups that I know for people that say, well, I tried keto and it didn't work for me. Well, one group, the biggest group, is they don't know what they're doing. They just hear about keto and they just try to make it up. It requires, it's not just like following Weight Watchers and cutting calories and exercising more. There's a lot more to it. So, but the other group, there is a small group of people though that they are chronic calorie restrictors. They don't eat enough. They're underweight. Their body is just already under stress and malnourished. And, keto is a therapeutic diet. And if you try to add this diet into somebody that it's not a good fit for, they're not going to feel good. So somebody's malnourished, undereating, they're, whatever's going on in their body that it's not absorbing nutrients or not getting fed enough nutrients. Yeah, ketogenic diet is not going to be amazing and make them feel great because it's like one more stressor on the body to go through. So yeah, there's a group of people that it's not going to feel good for. But most of the people don't ever get to the magic keto land just because they're not doing the approach right. So,
for instance, I've met a lot of people at the conference, they're doing paleo and they're in good shape, good health, and it's like, well, those people are obviously, it works for them, right? It's
right.
It kind of comes down, it's like, if, it's not right for everyone, but the people that it's right for, it's so right that it's, it's unbelievable the people that don't decide to go down the journey. It's
right, because we all have different levels of insulin resistance, and people that have some metabolic flexibility or maybe, much milder insulin resistance, they can do a paleo approach where they're cutting out refined sugars and grains, and that may be all that they need to... Because
they have, I'm going to say, maybe they have more self-control than I do.
Well, it doesn't have anything to do with self-control. It has to do with the insulin, resistance that's going on in their body. So
that's what I mean. I got to that insulin resistance level, but maybe they didn't. So.
Yeah. Well, and likely I gave it to you before you were even born.
And pregnancy, all that I don't know if we discussed that before on here, but the whole insulin spikes when you're pregnant,
Well, yeah, I don't think we talked about it last week. So, yeah, it was something that was in Gary Taub's new book, The Case Against Sugar. I thought we talked about this already, but
Maybe maybe we were live at the NTA
NTA
conference. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so Gary Taub mentions in his new book something that stood out to me was how back in the 60s that they were writing about how they noticed that when a mother was pregnant and her blood sugar was elevated during pregnancy, that the baby's pancreas, as it was forming, was making more beta cells. Beta cells are the cells in the pancreas that make insulin. And so a baby is already born making too much insulin. So that's why we're seeing kids as young as 3 years old now getting type 2 diabetes that used to be called adult onset diabetes. So they're already born making too much insulin. And so, in that case, oh, thanks, Kitty. In that case, those kids and those adults are going to do best to do a pretty stringent carb restriction for their entire life. And so that can be part of the picture of like, why are some people like overweight, really overweight their entire life? The good news is that we've got an approach to help them be as healthy as they can. Mm-hmm. It may mean that they may never be, 120 pounds or whatever, lean body, no matter how hard they work.
6'8", 120, with the ideal body shape.
Skeletor. Yeah.
No, I mean,
if that's you out there, we're not trying to make fun of you. We're just making up numbers.
Pretty much what this is saying, though, is like, if you're pregnant and you're craving that chocolate cake, it might not be the best for the baby. Just because you want it, it's probably not that good for the baby.
Yeah.
Give them the healthy stuff they need. Give them the nutrients.
That's part of why they see that gaining too much weight during pregnancy is a health risk for the mom and the baby, and it's not because fat is bad. It's just a sign that your insulin is too high and your glucose, which also is going to be chronically too high as well. So
people, you're definitely going to gain some weight when you're pregnant. That's pretty much, well, obviously there's baby in there, but don't let it go too ridiculous.
So I know we have a couple of questions that are popping up here. So just if you scroll down just a bit.
Scroll down.
Open that in a new window, I think, because.
How do I do that?
Well, the other thing you can do is check on the world notification thing.
The world notification thing.
Yeah, and there's a couple of, go down a little bit, and some comments on...
this one? No. Yeah, here.
No.
Yeah.
Oh. That just means she heard it. Okay.
Well,
we should be able to... Oh, yeah, see, there's a question.
Okay, fantastic. No, it's not a question. No questions so far.
You can make a comment. It's like a testimonial or comment. We can share that.
Lucinda Lucky You says, I am enjoying the team you and your son make. Well... Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you, Lucinda.
Lucinda Lucky Doo.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just
I don't know if that's a real name or not.
I've been watching a lot of Top Gear recently.
Yeah.
The British BBC car TV show, and I don't know. I've been messing around with different accents. They went to.
Oh yes. Let's hear.
Well, no, I'm not going to. But they went to like Paris and they went to Italy, and
we just gotta.
Kind of funny stuff. I don't know.
I've seen some thumbs and hearts and things like that on there.
I see my hair in the video. I look so poopy.
Well, you knew this was coming. You had even extra time.
No, I was walking upstairs and I just completely forgot to put a hat on. It's totally my fault.
Okay.
It's whatever though. I'll take full responsibility. Next time I'll look a little bit better. I will look a little bit more presentable.
Look what keto does for you.
It makes you forget to put a hat on. I know, my brain.
What's next? Oh, okay. So here is another frequently asked question. I had a couple people come and ask me this. Let's see. I saved some research on my calendar, but I don't even know that we need to talk about it, pull it up. But so a couple people came up and asked me at the conference. They said, wait, this other guy was just talking, and he said...
Oh, yeah.
He said that fat guts... leaky gut and high-fat diet. He said that high-fat diets cause leaky gut. Now, some of you watching this, or probably a lot of you watching this, are like, leaky gut, what the heck is that?
It sounds like something leaky somewhere else.
Yeah, leaky faucet. So, think of our digestive system as a tube. It's not like a plastic tube or anything like that. It's actually made up of cells. And, you can think of them as round or whatever. And they should be tightly next to each other so nothing can leak out of that tube. But leaky gut is a state where those cells are not very healthy and the connections between them are kind of lazy and things can pass through into the bloodstream.
So whenever you talk about the inside bits, I just get a little...
Yeah?
I just can't think
Makes
about it.
your
I don't
skin
know.
crawl?
It's inside my stomach leaking around. I don't know. I don't want that going on in there.
All right, you're like la la la.
Yeah,
plug
maybe
your
I'm gonna
ears.
go get a hat.
Plug your ears. Do you want to go get a hat?
No,
Okay.
I'll stick it
Okay.
out. I'll
right.
listen to this.
Totally sidetracked. The leaky gut cells are leaking if they're unhealthy. So inflammation, poor gut bacteria health in there, irritants and things like that in the diet. So like sugar and refined grains and gluten also can do this for people too. It causes those cells to not be very healthy, and then the connections between them get really lazy and unhealthy, and then particles of food, before they're fully digested and absorbed in the correct way, are able to make their way into the bloodstream, which is right on the other side of the intestinal wall, the cells that are there. So that's leaky gut basically, and it can be really. Basically it's thought of as one of the number one causes of food sensitivity. So like where people are like, oh, I can't eat eggs and cheese and dairy and they have a long list of things that they're allergic to, or they're usually like a naturopath or natural health care provider has done some kind of a blood test and told them what their food allergies are.
Mm-hmm.
And
they do that thing on their back where they poke them with a bunch of stuff. And
well, that's actually an allergist. So that's like a conventional medical doctor way of testing, and that would be more of what we call like an anaphylactic test, where it's a different type of immune
skin
reaction.
Yeah, if your skin reacts to it.
Well, it's a different type of. So our immune system has different types of reactions that it can take. So the skin prick one is going to be more along the lines of like an anaphylactic one, so that you should really avoid it. Those don't really get better or heal on keto that I've seen. The ones more that are a sensitivity, so your immune system is reacting to it in a certain way, but it's not one that would show up on the skin prick test.
You just kind of get a little uncomfortable. That'll go away.
Well,
you're gonna go to the hospital. Maybe.
Symptoms of food sensitivities tend to be things like congestion after eating, coughing, phlegm, chronic infections in your nasal passages. They can also contribute to like diarrhea and gas and bloating after people eat. Also, mental fogginess and just acne. Yeah,
That's a big one.
And skin eruptions, various types. So there's a long list of symptoms that people can get from food allergies, and up until people are using keto for this, basically people just had to avoid those foods and try the best they could to heal their gut, and then they would end up allergic to more foods, because if you don't heal those cells that are gapping and letting food through, you just end up allergic to the foods you're still eating.
And then you can eat nothing. You
Yeah.
You only drink water.
That tends to be what I see of people that are doing kind of that conventional route of just avoid those foods and try to heal the gut, is they just end up allergic to more and more foods. And so the good news is with a keto approach, you actually get to heal the gut in a bunch of different ways. And then we're seeing people, like we talked about this at the conference, but last week as well, we talked about how you seem to be no longer have the sensitivity to dairy anymore too.
Oh yeah, I think I had half my day's calories in cream and coffee today, so I can definitely drink my body weight in cream now.
Yeah.
Oof,
Your body weight? Well, that's a challenge.
I was so energized today. It's like doing my homework. Oh my god. So quick. My mind is...
Well, so the research topic then, I didn't make my way to the question that people had, was saying, this other guy is saying something about this LPS particle, lipoprotein polysaccharide. Fancy word that means like fat protein, basically. Okay. Oh, saccharide. Actually, lipo means fat, poly means many, and saccharide means a type of sugar, actually, like a starch. So it's a compound. So I had to look this up because I'm like, I don't know what this is. I just did a talk on how ketogenic diet heals the gut, and this guy's saying a high-fat diet causes leaky gut, and I was like, well, okay. I gotta find the research on it.
Let's look at the research. We're not gonna just you're wrong, I'm right.
Yeah, I want to understand, like, what is this research, and I started typing, high-fat diet, leaky gut, like high-fat diet, LPS, and looking at research articles on this. I found a lot of research, and I was like, this is really interesting. I got to know what this is. And so the LPS, this lipopolysaccharides, are lipoprotein polysaccharides. I look up the right word, but basically it's a part of the membrane of certain types of bad bacteria that can be in our gut, and under certain circumstances that protein can get into our bloodstream when we or into cause damage in our digestive system. Basically, that can contribute to this leaky gut problem. And so I was like, and it was, the abstracts, which if you don't know about research is like the summary paragraph at the beginning of a research is the abstract. And so and a lot of times the way that research is available online is that you can see the abstract, but if you want to see the whole article, you have to pay like $35 to see the whole article.
They want your money,
Yeah.
like anyone.
Or if you have a connection, if you're a student in school, then usually your school subscribes to these sites. So I went through several of them. All I could see was the abstract, and I finally found one that I could actually read the entire article, because one of the things in, my degrees are all science-based, and so I know how to look at a research article and understand, like, what's going on. So I wanted to find out, like, well, what was this high-fat diet that they were feeding these people that was, causing this association with damage to the gut?
Because most people will think high-fat diet, keto diet, same thing, right? Most people think that.
That's why people came and asked me, high-fat diet. Well, that sounds like a keto diet. And so I wanted to find out, well, what was this high-fat diet? I was thinking maybe it was like they were feeding them soybean oil or
some of the not good fats,
trans fats or something like that. But what it turned out was that the one that I could finally look at, this high-fat diet, was actually 3 pieces of toast. I'm pretty sure I can guarantee you those were white bread toast.
Well, it's cheaper, it's a large scale,
Yeah, nobody's making them eat Dave's Killer Bread, whole grain, sprouted grain bread for these type of tests. So 3 pieces of white bread toast with butter on it. That was their high-fat diet. And then it dawned on me, I remembered from school that high-fat diet is code for standard American diet. So a standard American diet is high-fat, it's moderate to high-fat, and high-carb, especially refined carbohydrates, right? So you're starting to get an understanding of like why a high-fat diet might cause digestive problems in people. So it wasn't the fat as it was the combination of fat plus high carbohydrate. And they weren't doing any controls, actually. So the one that I could find the control diet was what they call an austere diet, which is a low-fat, whole grain, unprocessed foods, fruits and vegetables. And so they're comparing a standard American diet with high sugars and grains, high refined grains, to a low-fat, whole grain fruit and vegetable diet. It would have been nice if they would have also done a standard American diet that was low in fat, right? And see if that caused the same thing. So basically, the study could not say that the fat was the cause of it, although that was a conclusion that they jumped to, because that is that fat's still not very popular, and so it's often chosen to be we're getting some hearts on this one.
Yeah.
Woohoo! It's interesting that we can see the hearts even though that's paused. I like that. Yeah. Well, thank you for the love, everyone. Right back at you. So just to remember, anytime you see in a research study or an article and they call it a high-fat diet, when they're doing specifically a ketogenic diet, they're going to say low-carb, high-fat.
Mm-hmm. Or ketogenic.
Or they'll say, low-carb, high-fat ketogenic diet or ketogenic diet. So that's how you can tell the difference between a high-fat diet, which is code for standard American high-carb, high-fat.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
McDonald's.
White bread and butter.
Yeah.
Or a low-carb ketogenic diet. Big difference. And, it's not going to be the fat that's causing the problems then. And so I was, I'm curious about the research. I wanted to find out what it was. Is there something out there I don't know? Because it's the opposite of what I've seen. Like, I'm seeing everybody's gut problems get all better really quickly. And that matched with the research that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it made total sense, like, why. But, if people don't actually, for one, if they don't actually go in and read the actual research article to find out what the high-fat diet was, it's going to be easy to jump to that conclusion. Well, high-fat diet causes this. The researchers say so. Well, what do you really mean by high-fat diet?
The researcher isn't wrong. It's just the association with high fat and keto, and people kind of they're thinking they're the same thing when it's really like it's the carb level that's really important to you, and the protein level is also really important.
Yeah, and that kind of tends to be that area that we know for sure that's probably the worst diet to eat is moderate to high fat and high refined carbohydrates. Like, we know that is the number one cause of.
If somebody what are those called? Toaster strudels and pastries all day, and then they have their steak at night, that's.
And then more ice cream.
And then cereal for the morning and ice cream for dessert. Yeah. Like, obviously that's bad. I don't think anyone's going to argue that's healthy.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a lot of disagreement about, like, should you go low-fat vegan or should you go high-fat ketogenic? but we very clearly know that
There's one that's bad.
Yeah.
No one's going to argue about that one. Like the healthy ones, are, of course,
maybe
are
the sugar companies are going to argue that that's healthy, but
everything in moderation.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
everything in moderation. No,
right.
That's,
Just have those 3 energy drinks. That's moderation, right?
No, I mean, I remember we were talking about this on the car ride home. I think that like the food companies. Maybe this is a little bit of a tangent. They're just like they design their foods to make you want to eat them all the time, and it's. When we were talking about like snacks like Doritos and chips and whatnot, how those were almost invented to create another time for you to need to eat, where like you wouldn't like people didn't snack when they were evolving and things like that. When like 100 years ago we weren't eating 6 times a day. It's like these companies have convinced you needed to, and of course you're hungry between meals and buy our food.
Well, that's a perfect segue into the next topic. So the final speaker at the NTA conference was Rob Wolf. He's got a great book coming out called Wired to Eat. I got a little autographed thing to stick in my book. I've got mine pre-ordered. If you haven't ordered it yet, go order it.
What's the book called again?
I'm not affiliate or anything, but Rob Wolf is awesome, and it's called Wired to Eat. And so he talks about how he did an hour-long talk, and it was really great, talking about how we're designed like biologically. Our whole goal as a species was to eat as much as possible and then to rest afterwards. And so he says the state of our bodies in this country right now is a sign of evolutionary success. Like we met the goal of eating as much as possible and resting. Mm-hmm. And so now we're paying the price of that. And just like you were talking about with the whole Doritos, like food manufacturers. So we reached a point somewhere after World War II where we were, food was abundant and most people had enough money to buy plenty of food.
People in America, pretty much. People in America, like.
Well, yeah. So we reached this point where people were eating a maximum amount of food. They were eating 3 meals a day, and then the food manufacturers were like, but we need to make more money. How do we make more money? We need to make these snack foods. We need to give people reasons they need to eat more frequently. And I wonder if that's, if you close that and open it, we maybe have more.
Maybe I can check after we're done talking about this topic.
I heard the bell, like I'm salivating, like
she's
Pavlov's, There's a notification. We have to look. So they created snack foods, and a couple of really great books about this whole thing. Salt, Sugar, Fat is a really great one, Michael Moss, and that one talks about how the whole, especially that combination of salt, sugar, and fat together rewards our brain immensely. And so food manufacturers, they have food scientists that know all this stuff. And
it isn't just luck. They don't just accidentally make good tasting food.
Oh, people wanted a chip, let's make some chips. No, they invent these, and they create like 20 versions of them, and they find the one that perfectly hits the spot where people, I bet you can't just eat one, right?
They do trials. They probably, this is true, definitely. Like, food companies put way more money into finding out what food you want to eat the most of. Yeah,
what food you will eat the most of.
What food you have to eat the most of, right?
I think it's that same book that he talks about the bliss point of soda sweetness. Mm-hmm. That they found there's a perfect amount of sweetness that most people really, really like, that any sweeter than that, you'll drink less of it. If any less sweet, then you'll drink less too. And so they found the perfect amount of sweetness in soda that
it's down to a science. Food tastes good because of science, not because it's just lucky.
Yeah, and I used to do this experiment with groups that I had in my clinic years ago. And those of you out there who are not doing a ketogenic diet and you want to have something really eye-opening about snack foods.
Maybe this will convince you to go keto.
Yeah, go or just to get rid of junk food. But
go grab the Doritos.
Go grab a bag of Doritos, whatever your favorite flavor is. And here's the challenge I want for you: is to take one chip,
just one, not a handful.
Take a bite of it and chew it really, really slowly in your mouth, and wait until it's all chewed up in your mouth, and then swallow. I promise you, it's going to be disgusting. We used to do this in my clinic. We'd do this experiment, and the chip tastes like cardboard, and the flavors don't even taste good. But it turns out that they've engineered Doritos to taste good only if you eat them fast. You eat them fast, and it tasted good, and you want more. Mm-hmm. They only taste good if you eat them fast. If you eat them slow, they taste terrible, so you don't eat them slow. Because if you ate them slow, you'd actually be able to notice when you got full.
Oh, definitely.
By eating them fast, then you eat way more of them.
Yeah, they sell you the family size, and that doesn't actually last any longer. It just makes you pay more.
Well, it makes you eat more, too. Another book along those lines is...
Well, they don't care about that. They don't care about how much you eat, as long as you buy a lot of them.
Mindless Eating is another great one. Brian Wenzik is the researcher on that one, really cool. It talks about all the different things that make us overeat. And so a lot of that is just cues in our environment that our brain gets that makes us eat more than we would otherwise. So a lot of this I actually build into the approach that I have with my clients, is why they get such good success, is that we take a lot of these strategies that recognize how our brain works and the things that make us want to eat more, and I incorporate those into the program so that people get better results. So a lot of people come to me, they're like, I've been trying this on my own and I'm doing all this stuff and why isn't it working? And it's because I have the nutrition side of it down, and I also know the brain chemistry and the psychological side of all of this too. So we get all of that. So
people are complex. Anyone that tells you otherwise is just plain wrong. People are not very simple. It takes a lot of work to understand what's going on in people.
Yeah. So along these lines, I wanted to talk about this thing that comes up sometimes as people come into my program and they really, for the first time in their life, they start making some really big changes to what they're eating, and they get to this point where they start feeling like they're bored with the food.
Mm-hmm.
And your logical mind tells you, well, yes, you're restricting, you're cutting out all these foods, so of course you're going to get bored because you don't have a selection.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense to your logical mind. And so you think, well, I need to add back in all these other foods, which are just really high-carb foods.
I'm missing something, right?
Because I'm bored. And I need to have cake, I need to have rice, I need to have donuts because I'm bored with food.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is that it's your carb-addicted brain that is missing the huge dopamine spike from high-carb foods.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we eat a food that's refined, high carbs, and especially if it's got fat with it and some salt, that is the magic bullet in the brain.
You can do a thought experiment. Think about that. Your mouth's already watering, right? You don't even need to eat it to know that tastes good.
And your brain. So when you eat foods like that, the part of your brain, the same part of your brain that activates when you have drugs or alcohol, that same part of the brain lights up.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you get that salt, sugar, fat all together,
it's the perfect combination.
Yeah, and even if you get just high sugar or high sweet taste
close enough, right?
Yeah, it rewards the brain. It gives you a drug high.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what makes food exciting, right? The opposite of boredom is that exciting reward of the brain.
Well, yeah, because we wouldn't, people would not eat food if not for some brain chemical reaction, right? I don't just eat food every day because someone told me one time that I need to eat food every day, right? Like, no, I eat food because my body craves food, and my body's happy when I eat food.
Yeah, and that's right. Like, we need food for our survival, and the thing is that we were designed to get a reward in our brain from regular food that's out there. But just like if you've ever heard of, in certain areas like the Andes or something where they chew on coca leaves,
mm-hmm.
which is the origin of cocaine, you get a little bit of a buzz, like a caffeine hit, I've heard from it. And
they don't have them around here, I don't think.
And so they use that for natural energy. But when you refine that out and you remove the purified cocaine, then you can get the addiction to it, and people want more and more into it. So we've done the same thing with food. Mm-hmm. Regular food should give us a reward in the brain, a normal reward that we seek out more food. But we've refined foods, we've processed them, we've bred them so that they're higher in sugars, just like the fruit example we've talked about before, even grains and sweet potatoes and things like that are this big now. We've bred them so that they're higher in sugar. They give us a bigger reward in the brain. And what that does is too big of a reward there causes addiction. It makes you want more and more and more. It's
mm-hmm.
this next day, the next week, the next year of your life, and then you're eating more food than you need. And so the part of your brain that's telling you you're bored with food is the same part of the brain that when you have been an alcoholic and you stop drinking, your brain goes, oh, I'm so bored with water. We need some more variety with our beverages here.
I haven't had alcohol in a long enough time. I'm probably not addicted anymore, right? I could probably just go for a little bit more.
Well, but we don't. My example here is to show that people don't have that reasoning with alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bored.
That's what I mean. It's it's the same thought, right? You wouldn't tell an alcoholic that it's 10 years later it's fine for them to go back because it's not really their rational mind thinking about it. It's the addiction still speaking. I mean, again, it's a different part of your brain, not the one that should be making the decisions.
Yeah, and so I encourage people when they get to that point where they're feeling like, oh, I'm so bored because this is so restricted. Try to switch your perspective and realize that it's just the part of the brain that's used to getting a huge spike of dopamine every time you eat, that drug hit, that now is no longer, it's getting a normal amount of dopamine from food that should be the amount of reward you get to make you eat a normal amount and not overeat. That part of your brain that's telling you want food that's exciting and have more variety, what it's really wanting is it wants a bigger dopamine hit. And you're not going to feel like you're having enough variety in your food, which really the dopamine response, until you can go back to carbs. So it's really, it's really craving that dopamine response from carbs, basically. Because if you really look at it, like the amount of variety that you can have in your diet with a ketogenic diet is limitless, really. It's just the...
I know Rob Wolf during his talk actually he put up a chart. It's something like proteins, fats, vegetables, and then spices or something like that. And it's a list of ones that fit I think like healthy standards or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget what the
paleo,
requirement
and they're
is.
also fit with ketogenic as well.
But he's talking about his list that he had. He was telling it's over 80,000 combinations of meals with never repeating anything, and it's something like if you did one of those a day, you'd have to live like 130 to have all of them, and
or even longer,
or something like that, right?
Right. So there's no such thing as like you're bored. There's no more options. You're eating the same thing all the time. It's just that part of your brain that's trying to trick you into thinking you need carbs again. Hey, you're bored. You should have some carbs. That would be really exciting. You know what would be really exciting is if we have some carbs.
It would give you a little dopamine rush.
Yeah,
Just try it out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the bad keto.
Yeah.
Bad keto pals over here. It's the dark keto friends. Just try it out. No, don't do that.
Yeah. So just try to do that mental perspective shift, and that will help you realize that it's not about true boredom. You're not really bored. And food shouldn't be exciting in your life. Like, you should have other things in your life that give you entertainment and excitement.
We're not saying just eat, white meat, chicken, and nothing else. Like, you can have good food, but I feel like, food shouldn't be the focal point of your day, right? I understand going out to dinner with your friends, like, you're excited for that, but that's because you're with company, right? It's not really about the food. It's kind of, you're hanging out with your friends, and it's the social aspect of it,
Well, and this ends up being something that people... that they get to heal, but they also have to heal in order to get a healthy, a healthy body weight and be able to sustain that, is to transition from using food as reward and entertainment and excitement in their life into using food as fuel. And that there can be some grieving that people go through with that. Like, if food has been your best friend for your whole life and it's been your comfort and your reward,
it's been your only friend, right? I know a lot of people that that's their point of view of it. Is the only thing that's been.
It's always been there for them. There's some grieving that just as if you lost a real friend, you've got to grieve some of that as well. So that can be really important for people to get support around. Is changing their relationship with food. And it is essential. If you want to beat this, if you're doing this because you're chronically battling your weight and forever it's been something you've been doing, you've got to change that part of it as well, or nothing you try is going to work. And so
it's difficult. What time is it? We're running a little. I mean, we're getting close here.
Yeah, perfect. But I'm just gonna. The only thing I've left is mentioning some food bars, and then we're gonna eat some sauerkraut.
One more topic, and then we get the food.
So somebody was asking about. I think it was Jerry. She wanted to know. Are there any keto-friendly protein bars or
before you talk
bars?
about the protein bars? I remember the Adapt fat bars. I mean, I don't know if you're going to bring those up, but those are pretty good to me. I mean, they're not quite protein bars. But
well, the thing is, on keto, most people end up tending towards way too much protein anyways. And so I wouldn't recommend any protein bars, actually, because a protein bar is like an artificial diet food that's been created to make us like, oh, just eat less, skip that. And a protein bar, most of them are like pseudo candy bars.
It's like the Doritos thing we were talking about earlier. Food companies created these to convince you that you needed the protein bar to supplement your protein. Really, if you eat a balanced diet, you're going to get enough protein.
And you're going to get way more nutrients in real food than you would from a protein bar.
You need like a little protein bar, or maybe like a cold hamburger.
Well, so my approach is, eat real food. There's a lot more things in there that are, vitamins and minerals and stuff that aren't going to be in any protein bars. And so my preferred protein bars for keto are going to be real food bars made out of, So, Epic brand, Epic Provisions is the name of the company. They have a couple of them that are keto friendly. They have one that's the uncured bacon bar.
Ooh.
And so it's,
Is that what we had at the NTA conference?
Not that one, but you've had these before.
Okay.
They are a little lean, so they're not very high in fat. And so for me, they taste kind of dry.
What you can do is you can take it, dip in some ranch, homemade ranch, of course. Maybe some homemade mayonnaise.
Well, I think people are looking for these for something out on the road.
I mean, I would keep a bottle of hot sauce. I mean, some people
Yeah.
keep a bottle of ranch. I don't know.
Maybe, some coconut oil or some portable mayo packets
Butter.
or something like
A little
that, some
butter on
butter or
there.
something like that, or maybe put a piece of high-fat cheese with
Portable
it.
mayonnaise packets, that's totally a thing. People
Yeah.
have, people
Yeah.
have those. Like, that's,
Yeah, yeah.
that is on the road.
Yeah, the
You
other
should
one...
just do that instead of getting a protein bar. Just have a little shot of mayonnaise.
You would do that.
Maybe.
The other one that Epic has is their sriracha chicken is also keto friendly. Again, it's really low fat though, so if you eat it by itself, you're going to be hungry really quickly. So I would add some more fat with that. And the other ones, then there's a bunch of different meat sticks that are out there on the market as well. A really convenient protein bar that doesn't need refrigeration, despite what you might think, is a cheese stick.
Mm-hmm.
They are refrigerated, but cheese is actually created unrefrigerated.
And also most cheese packages are sealed too. Like
Right,
nothing's
right.
getting in there. Like,
Right,
it's not
so
like
it doesn't
it's
have to be refrigerated. You could do, the mozzarella sticks. There's cheddar ones now on the market. There's even, I've seen packets that have like a pepperoni stick and cheese with it. And
When it comes down to, if you're snacking on keto, don't really try to snack protein because it's just not going to fill you up. Really, you should look for a higher fat snack. I know
Yeah.
we found these nuts when we were at the NTA conference. I don't know if she mentioned the peely nuts. They're just
those
I
are
think
really
it was,
delicious.
a package was like an ounce and a half, I think, or something like that. And
It's
it was,
like 22 grams of fat and
everyone we told that, we're like, whoa, that's
Yeah.
like crazy. It's 20 grams of fat. That's going to fill you up, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you have that whole container of nuts, you're not going to be hungry. Like, it's that's going to be a fulfilling hiking snack or whatever if you really need something to.
they were delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, we got like the spicy ones. Ooh, I remember I was eating a handful or whatever, and like the little piece of chili got in my mouth. I was it's so hot. I had to
Yeah.
pick it out. It's really good stuff.
They were really good though. We got to find a local place to get those around here. But
Yeah, the vendor we got them from, he said he's like packaged them himself
online or something. Yeah.
it's like just
He also had. I'm gonna have to look up this website and make find a post or something for it. But he had these. They look like jerky strips,
Mhm.
but they were made from organ meats, which I know a lot of people are like gross, but they were like moist
there's
and
more flavor.
They were
There's-
moist and juicy pepperoni sticks, is what they tasted like, or salami.
And
They
they
were
have-
so good.
The best thing about it too, I remember I pulling them out of the package, I could see the fat glistening off it, right?
Yeah.
I know looking at that's going to fill me up. It's not just going to be, I'm just eating a thing of meat. I'm eating,
Yeah, I mean that's naturally how meat comes, anyways. And I apologize, I can't remember the brand name. This is terrible. We're talking about there's this really good thing out there, and I don't know the name or the supplier, so I'll try to find that and post it on my
not Jack
page
Link's.
soon. So
It's not those
no,
ones.
no. Yeah, yeah. The only one I've seen that's made from organ meats tastes great, and it's a higher fat version as well.
Well, so maybe you'll look it up later, make a post on it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Check back for it
I
later.
will do my best to do that. So another one that's not really technically a bar, but also is a really great keto snack to have on hand that doesn't need any refrigeration are going to be canned fish.
Like tuna
So
or
sardines are excellent, high fat, naturally, really great source of calcium from their bones. They're also a really great source of omega-3 fats. And are we getting some more questions there?
we're just getting some comments here.
So Betsy's saying Paleo Valley. No, the one Paleo Valley is a great one. They're going to be leaner. It's not the brand of this one that I'm talking about that was organ meat one. It was a totally different. Like this guy who ran this snack shop company made his own organ meat snack bar things that were really good. I've got his card somewhere in the other room, so we'll do it. Anything else that
Any questions here? Food that is bad for you should be illegal. Hopefully that's totally a thing. But I mean, going
well,
back,
they tried taxing it.
going back. Is that in? I think that was in Britain though, wasn't it? Where they taxed fast food sodas.
They're trying to tax it in Seattle here. The sodas.
Well,
and,
I mean, the thing is you have to think about corporate, the capitalist economy we live in. I could go on and on about
Yeah.
this, but there's so much money invested in it. No one's going to let it happen in today's government geopolitical climate.
well,
so.
and the story that's coming out now is that Seattle's trying to pass this soda sin tax, and then some other state that passed it, they're talking about how the company had to lay off 30,000 employees or something because of the soda tax.
People are gonna tell you it's a poor people tax because poor people drink soda. It's like,
Yeah.
well, no, it's just that's that's just
Yeah,
propaganda.
I don't know. Let's not turn this into a political show. At least today.
At least
we'll save that for
maybe
another
we'll
day.
maybe Wednesdays we'll do our political talk. I don't know. I want to get into this.
Did you see what Amy says about you?
Amy said that I'm a good kid. Yeah, of course.
And he makes a mean keto cocktail. But stop calling your mom by her first name.
It's Keto Carol.
Yeah.
Carol's her last name.
Yeah.
Keto is her
It's not
first
keto
name.
mom.
It's Keto Carol.
All All right, let's crack out
Let's get 'em
this
popping.
stuff.
Okay, so we're gonna do a taste test now. I know we were talking earlier about how food needs to not be, it needs to just be for sustenance, but sometimes,
Well, no,
You
I'm
try
going to talk
some
about
of
the
it.
benefits of this. Okay, so
Is
this
it?
is, this Planet I just picked up at Whole Foods. We got 3 different varieties. It's called Pickled Planet, and
a couple other ones in the background I can see.
Veda Kraut, which is cabbage and
Is this is the
curry spices and Himalayan
this
salt.
is the regular. That's the regular flavor.
No, they have a plain as well. I didn't get that one because I just
That's
I
a little
picked
boring,
ones that
right?
look good.
Everyone's tried regular sauerkraut. This
Yeah.
one is the Velvet Sea raw sauerkraut.
So this one has cabbage, burdock, which is a type of root that's thought to be really nourishing, lots of minerals in it. It's got ginger, aramay, which is a type of seaweed, as well as hijiki, which is also a type of seaweed. And so seaweeds are really rich in minerals and iodine, and a really digestible source of, it's kind of like the vitamin pill from the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Aramay and hijiki, they don't have a lot of flavor on their own, and so they'll take up the flavor of whatever else is in there. And then this one is...
This one is the iBoost version, and I just noticed that this one doesn't have nutrition facts on it.
I know when I picked that up before, I don't know why.
This have ingredients, but these are the ones do
This
have
one
nutrition.
has cabbage, carrots, so it's got some roots in it, which technically, most keto approaches say stay away from roots, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, I noticed there's carrots in there, but...
Yeah, carrots, burdock, horseradish, garlic, kale, nettle leaf is very, very high nutrient dense, local thing in the Pacific Northwest. Nettle leaves are really high in a lot of minerals and vitamins. And so we've got ginger, lemon, Himalayan sea salt, thyme, oregano, and cayenne. So this has got all kinds of crap in this one. So
yeah, I was going to say the ingredients list on these ones. This one's 3. The curry one. The other one is 4 or 5.
5, and then this
one's like a lot. So
yeah.
There's just more in it. They're not like preservatives and stuff. It's just all.
So these are considered fermented foods. So basically, you take all these things and you add salt to it, and the natural bacteria that exist on these foods in nature start to grow. They eat the naturally occurring carbohydrates that are in these foods. So actually, that's the low carbohydrate content what we and they make beneficial things for us. And so
even though there's carrots in there, it's going to be a little bit less carbs than usual carrots.
Yeah, and the amount that you're eating of these things, so typically it's like a tablespoon per meal with something that's like a fermented food. And in the United States, these tend to be like weird, out there, weirdo foods. Like,
what are you
who
doing?
eats that stuff? Just
Gross.
hippies from Seattle. But if we look at all the other cultures around the world, it's always been traditional that they have some kind of a cultured or fermented food as a condiment for each meal. So in Germany, you've got sauerkraut. In Japan, you got things like miso or pickled ginger, wasabi even. Yeah. Well, that's not cultured or fermented.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of along that line, though.
Traditional yogurt is cultured as well, although most yogurt in the United States is prepared.
Get your sugar yolk
and they add things like lactic acid in it to make it tart, and then they throw in some bacteria. It's not really
peaches
cultured.
and stuff where it's
and sugar and all kinds of stuff.
To make you like it because it's.
What else have we got? So like kimchi in Korean culture as well. There's lots of examples you could go around and pick each culture, and so it's.
This is going to sound weird, but America is kind of the outlier in a lot of things like this. Yeah. We're the weird people actually that don't do it.
Well, we've got pasteurization, and so it's been good for preventing the spread of a lot of diseases that were passed around in food, but it also killed off all that good natural bacteria that was in there. So what you want to look for, and so the benefits of this is going to give your body some good probiotics. It's going to be pre-digested, so it's going to be easier on your digestive system. One of the most important things of pre-digested, so the bacteria has already started to break it down, is that means the minerals that are in there are going to be much easier for your body to get and absorb.
That's always a good thing.
Plants have natural compounds in them that they don't want to give up their minerals and vitamins. And so while you can look up a database that says like whatever food, kale's a really good source of whatever, it's really hard for our body to get minerals out of plants in general. And so when they're cultured like this or fermented, it's much easier for us to get the things out of it.
Not only are these things good for you, they're in their almost best form to get the nutrients out of them.
Yeah. And the other one, there's some other nutrients that are created. So they're higher in B vitamins and things like vitamin K, fermented foods as well. So there's a lot of different health benefits to it.
Guess what? It's healthy. Are you surprised? I mean, we're not going to eat something that's unhealthy on here.
Yeah, so I suggest starting out with, there's a lot of them on the plan now.
Where'd you get these ones? Whole Foods?
Whole Foods Market. Your selection is going to vary by store, but now the Whole Foods here we're local has a whole section of all different kinds of naturally fermented foods. And
I know most Whole Foods have a lot of pretty much everything you could want in a food store.
Basically, you want to see that it's raw, that it hasn't been pasteurized. That's how you know it's still going to have that beneficial bacteria in there. So it says raw. It's buried on the back, raw. But nutritious and delicious enzymes and probiotics.
So let's give it a try here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this one back and we'll try I want to try the curry one first. This is the Vita Kraut because I'm actually kind of on a curry kick. I don't know why.
Oh yeah.
Well, you made that pork recently.
I made that pork
with
the curry powder in it. Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I like curry flavor. It's pretty nice.
All right.
Maybe I'll put the fork out of my hand while I'm opening this.
Good thing we got.
Oh, it actually wasn't even as hard as I thought it was. All right. Want to dive in there?
All right. It's actually really easy to make your own.
It smells well.
The curry comes at the end. It's a little tart.
Me, I've never really been a huge fan of sauerkraut. It's just never really been my thing. I'm more of like a coleslaw kind of guy.
Mm-hmm. But you're having a couple bites there, huh? This is pretty tart, which means it's nice and fermented. So the longer it ferments, the more acidic it's going to get.
It's definitely very fermented. Oh, there's the curry. Actually,
it's at the end, yeah.
So, yeah, for me, I'm not a big sauerkraut fan. But the curry flavor is nice. I think it tastes like the curry's good in there.
Well, typically when these things versus I don't know if I like the taste of it, but your body really likes it. Notice how it keeps taking more even though he said he didn't really like it? His body's like, yeah, that's good. Eat more of that.
The reason I don't like it is the texture. To me, because it's a little, it tastes like it feels like a squeegee on my teeth. It feels kind of rubbery sliding against it, but I mean, it's not like.
Let's try it.
I'm just not used to the texture.
Which one are you going to try next?
Let's do let's do this one. Just the next closest one.
All right, the eye boost is what this is called.
This is the eye boost one. This is the one that's what was different about this one?
Oh, this one has nettles. It's got some more roots in it.
I like the smell of this one a little bit better.
Smells pretty good too. It's got ginger and
it's a little juicy. Just dripped on me.
So the burdock root in it has a very earthy tone to it.
I was gonna say, wow.
It tastes like dirt a little bit.
I don't know. I like the flavor of this one. It's a lot stronger. What's that?
It's spicy.
It's very spicy.
It's got cayenne in it.
So cayenne, yeah, that's definitely what that is. I like this one.
Yeah.
It's just so hard for me to eat it with the
the squeeginess.
Squeeginess. Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a squeegee.
Well, typically, I mean, most people don't eat sauerkraut all by itself. They'll put it on meat. It tends to be really good for helping with digestion too.
I like the texture of this one though. The I don't know what is it, but the probably like the burdock.
Mm-hmm.
And there, the texture is pretty nice. I like this one. It's a little bit spicier. The cayenne there makes it
definitely spicy.
Makes it pretty hot, but
yeah,
it's a different flavor than the curry one. That's for sure.
Yeah, just try a little tablespoon on the side of your favorite meat.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we were doing like pulled pork taco salads, the past couple days, and put a little of this on there. That's delicious. Probably. I'm gonna do that next time I have some. This one's the last one. This is the Velvet Sea.
Velvet Sea. Let's see if this one's less squeegee. It says
this
velvet.
This one probably smells really salty. I'm anticipating. Ooh, yeah, it smells like. It
smells like sauerkraut to me.
To me, it smells like sushi. Not like fish though. To me, I
like this one the best.
It smells like an aquarium to me.
The flavor is very similar. Well, it's much more like just plain sauerkraut,
casual.
Actually.
To me, it tastes a little bit limey, but there's no lime in it. There's lime in the other one, but
it's just the acidity of the probiotics eaten, going to town.
Just going to town in my belly.
Yeah. I think I like this one the best, but actually I'd probably take the Veda curry one and add more salt to it.
Really? Yeah, I like the the spicy one. I like the cayenne one because it has a little bit different texture in there. This, sauerkraut usually has a pretty similar texture, and the flavors are just kind of different. But that one's the first time I've had that actually had like different textures in it.
So I see a question here. Vanessa's saying something about sugar-free gum. So Yeah, I don't know if there's a question there or not, or if that was a comment about something, but I would really recommend avoiding sugar-free gum altogether, because all that's doing is stimulating digestion. All it's going to do is stimulate appetite. So a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm craving something sweet. I just have a piece of sweet gum, a sugar-free gum, and that curbs that craving. But if you haven't heard me say this yet, if you're craving something sweet and you have anything sweet, even if it's a keto-friendly sweet, all that does is reinforce that craving and makes you have more cravings.
The craving in your mind is like, oh, yeah. I won.
Yeah.
I win every time I want something.
Yes, and then it's like, I'm gonna do that again. It's like that little what do we call the bad keto friends?
The bad keto friends.
Yeah.
We'll do a video someday. It's like
we'll have to
the terrible keto advice. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, right into your question. We'll April Fool's is coming up. We should do it.
That's a good idea. But,
oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
I ruined it.
No one heard it. No one heard it.
Nope. Okay. Good idea.
Spoiler alert. Cliffhanger. Whatever it is. So which ones you like?
I would avoid chewing gum, because that's part of what goes with eating is chewing, right? And so if you're chewing, you're sending the signal to your body that it should be digesting food, and
insulin response,
all that stuff. Yeah. So I would avoid sugar-free gum. Anything else?
No, food, I know it's a hard thing to grasp, but it's kind of like contrary to most people's belief is food's just a fuel, right? You're fueling your body, take it in the way that tastes good to you, obviously, because you still have to touch your tongue, but don't really obsess over it. Try not to, at least. I mean, that's the goal.
And the good thing is you'll get there. That's part of the transition, the support that we're going to that I give people in my program is transition that place, and they all get to the end of their 9 weeks, and they're like, it's the first time in my entire life that I feel at calm and peace, not only with food but with my body as well. So it's pretty cool.
You don't feel so ashamed of yourself, just for no reason, just blaming yourself. No, that's gone. That'll be gone. Yeah,
it's great. Well, I think that's all for now. We've used up our time here.
My teeth feel clean now. My teeth feel really clean after eating this sauerkraut.
Yeah, it's good for you, huh?
Maybe it did squeegee my teeth.
Squeegeeing your teeth. All right.
Teeth squeegeers.
Well, if you have any questions, email them to me, carol@ketocarol.com. And if you like this video, the way that you tell Facebook you want to see more is give us some kind of an interaction.
Like that?
Hearts or thumbs up or ha ha ha. If you want to cry,
don't do the angry face. I don't think that's a good one.
Unless you want to be angry at the food manufacturers for making Doritos in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Or share as well. If you share this video with somebody else that you think might enjoy it, that helps as well.
And we just also uploaded a new keto chat video on our Facebook.
Oh, you did?
YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a new one up on Facebook, or not Facebook.
Yeah,
YouTube.
if you're not subscribed to me, go find me on Facebook. You can look up Keto Carol and you'll find my playlist there. So the latest interview is with Pam and Doug Devine. They're the founders of Low Carb USA, and their story of finding keto is really great because Doug is a runner, and so he's one of those people that has been trained forever that you need lots of carbs, and his body started breaking down, and he switched over to high fat, and now he's back to running again. And and they have a fantastic conference that they put on every year too. So check that out. Also, if you're ready to get support on your keto journey, if you're trying to figure out why it isn't working for you, and you're not getting all those good feelings, you're not seeing the weight loss that you'd hope to see, and especially if you need that support with the psychological side of things, with getting rid of the cravings, getting rid of the boredom with food, and really moving to that place of being calm and peace with food in your body and in the world.
Maybe we need to incorporate some meditation into the program.
Well, I have the relaxation stuff in the training. I know you've never actually taken my full training.
I know. I look like I have. Maybe not today, but
Yeah, so if you go over to ketocarol.com, and just remember Carol spelled with an E on the end, Keto, Carol, Carole. Ketocarol.com. If you scroll all the way to the bottom there's a way you can fill out an application to get a consult with me one-on-one on the phone. So would love to talk to you more about keto, get you the support that you need so that you can have this long-term healing and put all of this crap in your pack.
Big surprise, Carol wants to help people. Right?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yep, I'm going to another keto event this coming weekend as well, Phoenix, Arizona. There's a huge keto symposium on keto for neurological issues. So I'm really excited because it's going to be all the nerdy science and biochem stuff and behind the scenes. So I look forward to learning even more about how keto works in the body in all these different ways. So
I'm not going to be there, so
No.
no impromptu Facebook lives like last time.
no,
Unfortunately.
I may without you.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Check that out. Maybe she'll be going live. You know, tours
Yeah,
of the
I'm
hotel.
sure I
or
will
whatever.
with different things that I'm sharing, and I'm excited. Cause
Maybe you'll be able to
exciting.
find some interviews too, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm trying to line some things up. So
That's pretty
Nothing
cool. It's
promised.
exciting. So
Yeah.
stay
Yeah.
tuned.
yeah, all right. Well, and I'll be back in time. We'll be back here regular time, regular channel next
You're
week
back
as well.
Thursday.
So,
Yeah, maybe we'll be back at 5 o'clock instead of 7.
yeah, we should be. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.